particular pen, and so I went with that, and that's how I did.
You are fabulous.
Thank you. Yes, sweetheart.
What did you feel about the kids in Glee?
What do I feel about the kids in Glee? I have no gratitude. I love the kids in Glee. They work much harder than I do. And they show up first thing in the morning, and they usually don't leave till late at night. They're singing, they're dancing, they're recording, they're acting. They got it going on all day, and they're very, very nice people. Yes?
I loved you on The Hour, being Sybil Shepherd's lover. I thought that was really good.
Thank you, I love that.
On Glee, when you do the Madonna, and
Yeah.
you did the Let's Get Physical.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to see more of that. Sue Sylvester, they have her as a mean character, and you're just completely opposite.
Oh, I got it in me. I don't have to dig very far for Sue Sylvester. I really don't. And that's one of the things I talk about in the book is everything lives in me. And that's when I think my work really became profound. And actually, I unlocked that when I got into therapy. Before that, as an actor, I was a person who thought it was out here. I kept looking for the character and kept looking for the qualities of the character, maybe in another person. But when I started to go into therapy, I realized it was all in here. Because one day I walked into therapy and I was really pissed off about someone passing me on the right on my bike, which is dangerous. And I have this rule follower in me. And I started telling her, and she started cracking up. She said, you have to write a monologue for a character in this voice. And that freed me. Then I realized this little inner bitch in me can actually be blown up into a character. And I created this character called the Angry Woman who wore a neck brace all the time. She couldn't speak louder than this. And that's when my work became profound for me. So Sue Sylvester is certainly not out there. She's not here.
I grew up in Harvey.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think some of that edginess came from?
Yeah, Harvey's on the south side of Chicago,
Yeah.
right next door to Dalton, where I grew up from. I mean, there is a frankness about our people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's that Midwestern.
Yeah, the Midwestern kind of, to the point, and we're right outside of the city, so we have a little bit of that urbane, get over yourself stuff, but it's also Midwestern, so there's big heart and a lot of politeness and pushing your feelings down,
Right, but there's an edge there too.
Yeah, there's an edge there, absolutely.
Do you miss Chicago?
I do. I was just in Chicago last week. I miss the city like you wouldn't believe. It's the greatest city in the world, and I did a couple of book signings at independent bookstores and at Barnes & Noble, and it was great to be there. Are you from Chicago?
I am.
Oh, I'm from Chicago.
Yep.
So what's the difference between working on a show like Glee and then going to like a small video company like Take 180?
Oh, Take 180, that's right. I did a little video. For me, it's all the same. It's fine, mining it for the funny and finding the real place that it comes from, even though we did this kind of thing on the iPhone, right? We did what is the word? We made fun of it. Spoof, thank you. Of those commercials, the iPhone commercials with Mac versus, what do you call it?
Oh, yeah.
PC. And, I always start the inside out, and I found my inner cockiness and went from there. So for me, it's all the same. It's all the same whether I'm doing a little skit for somebody, or I'm doing Glee, or doing Criminal Minds. Yes.
I loved your Invest in show, and I was wondering if there were any other.
I had lunch with Christopher Guest about 5 or 6 months ago, and he did not mention anything. So he's very happy being a dad and riding his bike, and he directs commercials all the time. Anything you laugh at on TV, a commercial, he probably directed it. But I think he's living a very happy life, and maybe something will strike him. I hope so. Really good. Good. Hi.
Hi. How many cities are on your book tour?
How many cities on my book tour? Yeah. Well, I'm not doing a big book tour because I'm in production right now. So I only go on weekends. And I've been to probably 4 or 5 cities since September 13th. And I'll go to maybe 3 or 4 more. Yeah, so not a huge book tour. Yes?
Hi, I was just wondering what your favorite project was that you worked on and why?
It's always, my favorite project is kind of always what I'm working on right now, like Glee. I love doing Glee right now, but let me think. There was something about A Mighty Wind that was really special, and it was because it combined music and performance, we did a tour. And our group anyway, the New Main Street Singers, we started rehearsing about 2 or 3 months before the movie was shot. So we had this blissful time of getting really good at our instruments, getting really good at our sound. John Michael Higgins was arranged all of our music. He's the guy who played my husband, and a wonderful actor, and he arranged all of our vocal arrangements. And we all really became so much better at performing. And by the time we shot that movie, we were great. I mean, Parker Posey was playing the mandolin, and I knew 3 chords on the guitar. I was playing 5, and in time, as opposed to. That was really, really, really fun. And also, I played a character who I don't walk around in life leading with that kind of very sensual sex pot, feminine sex pot thing, and it was a very freeing thing for me. I chose for her to be that way because it was something that doesn't feel comfortable in my body. That kind of real, aren't I sexy? Don't you just want to do me right now? I mean, I'm thinking that a lot. You never know, by the way. Yes.
I saw a special yesterday on CNN about bullying.
Yes.
I want to know if you're going to be doing anything else with that subject.
If I'm asked, we did a special which I thought was very good.
Yeah, it was.
Anderson Cooper and Dr. Phil and this woman Rosalind Wiseman, who was fabulous. And Kelly Ripa was on. She was great, and some really brave kids who were having a crap beat out of them in Minnesota because of the stupid policy they have there. Yeah, it's. I think it's great that we're talking about it, and my wife and I are kind of knocking around an idea of a children's book. That actually, she woke up this morning. She said, "You know what? I think I've outlined it because we write really well together." So, yes.
Yeah, it was rumored a while back that there was going to be a book written by Sue Sylvester.
Yeah.
Is that still a possibility?
Not me, but Ian Brennan writes everything I say, so I actually have no right writing that book. But Ian and I had talked about it, and then he got a deal independently as I was doing my book. And I don't know if it's happening, but if it gets written, Ian will write it. And you should read his. Do you read his text or his tweets?
Yeah.
He's insane. And also, if you take, there's a tweet. Somebody's tweeting Chuck Norris quotes and making them Sue Sylvester quotes. And they work.
So as an actress, when you're reading those words on the paper, how do you determine what part of your personality is going to be, come out in that personality?
Well, Sue. I defined Sue very. I mean, it's very clear who she is. She's a warrior, and her biggest weapons are shame, humiliation, and aggression. So it's like, am I shaming here? Am I aggressing? Am I doing both? And they're written so clearly that I don't struggle with it at all. It's very easy, trippingly off the tongue. Yes.
You did the Emmys this year. How much control do you have over what you could say and the bits that you did?
How much control did I have over what I said in the bits in the Emmys? A lot, which was the scariest part. I remember Mark Burnett saying, "I serve you." And I hired Jill and Faith Soloway, who you'll read in the book, are my friends from Chicago. They are sisters, and they created the Real Life Brady Bunch, which was a big kind of turning point for me. Back in the early 90s, we did it at the Annoyance Theater in Chicago, then we took it to the Village Gate in New York for about 9 months, and we did it at the Westwood Playhouse out here, actual episodes of the Brady Bunch. And they were the producers, and they've been my friends ever since, and we have the same sensibilities. We spend our days laughing at each other and with each other, and so I brought them on as my writer. So, Jill came up with the liaison thing for the Jersey Shore bit. We had this whole Kardashian thing we were going to do that they didn't let us shoot because we chose the liaison, where I was going to be the Bruce Jenner had an affair with somebody at the Olympics in '76, some discus thrower, and I show up as, I am your daughter from Serbia. I have accent like this. The sisters are like, "No, I guess we can work with this," and they put me like in a tanning salon. It was hilarious. Hopefully we'll be able to do that shoot that some other time. But they were one idea after another. Now, on all my lines, we had about 5 or 6 writers backstage, kind of